Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, I guess I should say this morning because it is 5:08 a.m. on this freezing cold Saturday morning. It is 31 degrees outside. And I woke up about an hour ago. Took the dogs outside. Tucker's like not wanting to like leave the bed now. He was much better today, but he was not wanting to leave the bed tonight to go outside and go potty. Boo Radley like jumped down right away, but Tucker just kind of like perked up his head, and then he was laying against Alex, and he just sat there. And I said, "Come on, buddy, let's go potty outside." And he just kept on looking at me, and I go, "Come on, Tucker." And he usually, like gets right up. I think he was half asleep. So I picked him up and I carried him downstairs. But as soon as he went outside, he was like awake. And then they did their business. And I brought him back inside. And I got them snuggled in bed with Alex. And then I got on the computer and I was kind of looking at stuff. This is always like a dangerous time of night for me to be on the computer, because things that I've been looking for, I end up just buying. I'm like, okay, well, I've been thinking about this long enough, and then I end up just buying it. Oh, I know why I sat down at the computer. Because I was making a cup of coffee in my Starbucks cup, and like how this is the weirdest thing in the world to me, but I know it's the truth, because I don't know the science or the technology behind it, but it happens all the time, and I'm sure it happens to you. Like if you say, like, I'm looking for a Sherpa blanket, or you like Google Sherpa blanket or whatever, then all of a sudden on your Facebook and on your Instagram and everywhere, it's like Sherpa blankets start turning up every place. Do you know what I'm talking about? So I had seen this thing. It was called a commuter tumbler, and it's like a coffee thing like this, but it's real tall, and they had them in all different colors, and they had one that was like white on white, and it was really cool. And it said it's like for taking on the train or wherever, like if you're gonna fly, or I don't know, like, but I don't think you could take this on a plane, so I don't know how you could. Anyway, I don't know, but it's just called a commuter tumbler, and it was really cool, and it was very kind of just sleek is the word I would use. But anyway, so I got online the other day to look at it, and they were sold out. All of them were sold out. And I really prefer the swig cups, because they keep everything so hot. The reason I like this is just really easy, and it fits in here perfectly. The swig cups that I have, one of them won't fit in my cup thing in here. It's too big, but I use it around the house. That's the one that looks kind of like it's wood. The other one that's like bright colors, it has a handle on it, so I have to turn it sideways. So this one is like perfect for me because it has no handle on it. So I wanted another one like this, and I had that green Starbucks one. Well, when I was on the site the other day, they had a 16-ounce one that's kind of tall, and it is red tartan plaid for Christmas. It's like their holiday one. And I was like, ooh, I like this. But it was $39.99 for, I think it was 39 something, $39.99, $39.40, I don't know, $39.99 for a 16-ounce cup. And I was like, I think that's kind of expensive. So anyway, tonight I was on Instagram, just like standing there in the kitchen making my coffee, or I think that's when I saw it, and it said, or maybe I was just kind of like going through Instagram earlier, I don't know, but it said that it was on sale. It pulled that up and said it was on sale, and so I went to the website, and it was on sale for like 26 bucks, and so I ended up getting it, because I thought I'll really enjoy this through the holidays, so get ready for that. That's going to be coming very soon to a vlog near you. And then, I had been looking at a pair of New Balance sneakers. My friend actually, at the Halloween party at my friend Aaron's, he had a pair on. They were kind of like rugged looking, and he has real cool style anyway. And But they had like cool shoelaces and they were different colors and stuff. I love New Balance shoes. I've worn New Balance shoes for a long time. So I was like, I buy so many pairs of sneakers and I just love sneakers. I just think they're so cute, like with a sweater and khakis or sweater and jeans, like in the winter. I think it's such a cute look. And in the summer, I mean, obviously, like I like to wear like with cute socks. And I had just bought these socks from American Trench that are, what do you call it? They're like tube socks, but they're kind of like off-white. And then I got some that are like a grayish color tube sock. They're gonna look so cute with these shoes that I bought tonight from New Balance. Yeah, and then that sweater that I was looking at on, what's that brand? It's very preppy, Vineyard Vines or something Vines or whatever. Oh, by the way, our friend, I always think of him because he wears all that stuff, but our friend that we went to Fort Lauderdale with, the other couple, and then, you know, the wife, they had their baby today. So congratulations to them. It's very, very exciting. And her labor went very easy. She wasn't even in labor for that long. So that was really exciting. But anyway, so I got those shoes. The Vineyard Vine singer, whatever. So he wears all that stuff, like the sweatshirts, the t-shirts, the shirts, the hats, everything. But anyway, their stuff is kind of expensive. I like when I was looking on the website, like just for real plain stuff, it's kind of expensive. But they have a phone case that I like, and it's like green plaid. I'm so into plaid right now. It's a good thing that I'm not decorating my house, because I would decorate everything like with plaid, and then I would want to change it 2 years from now when I was over the plaid. But I love plaid everything right now. It's just like super cozy to me or something. I don't know. The word, if you had told me 2 years ago before I started reading Cozy Mysteries that the word cozy would mean so much to me, I would never have believed it. But anyway, and the fact that my husband has totally just supported this cozy lifestyle, so to speak, and just he knows it makes me so happy. But anyway, so I got that, and now I'm here. Oh, I was watching Night Mother. So I bought it, I think I bought that the other night, but I was like downloading a couple movies, and so I was watching Night Mother while I was sitting there, and I also like doing that, just the beginning of it, like the first 10 minutes. And I forgot how much I love that movie, but that movie is so sad and depressing, and I never really understood why I connected with that movie. It was weird I can remember watching it when I was like younger. Well, first of all, I love Sissy Spacek, and she is so fantastic in the movie. But I never could figure out like what I connected with that. So it's about a woman that takes her own life. And the whole thing is based on a Marcia Norman play, and it's just a mother and daughter. And it's like she's made a decision. And it's Sissy Spacek plays the daughter, and Ian Bancroft plays her mother. And she lives with her mom, and she basically takes care of her. Not because she needs her to, but just because her mother is like she does everything for her mom. And I think that's what it is. I think I so related to that movie because it just was very similar in some ways to me and my mom's relationship. Like there's this one scene at the beginning when Anne Bancroft comes in, and she eats a lot of candy. It has one of my favorite lines ever in a movie. Sissy Spacek says something about you need to eat more like vegetables or something, and she goes, or food, and she goes, I don't like food, I like candy coming in bags or wrapped in paper. And my mom loved candy. I love candy, but my mom loved candy. And my mom loved caramels, like just wrapped caramels. She loved them so much. She would buy like a whole bag at Halloween, you know, like when you do like the caramel apples. She would buy like just a bag of caramels and a bag of gum. The movie is, at one point, she finds out in the movie that she has like seizure disorder, like epilepsy. Her mom tells her, or she's talking about when she found out she has epilepsy, and her mom says, well, I think you had it when you were younger because your dad did too. And she goes, why didn't you? She gets mad. She's like, why didn't you ever tell me? And it was so weird because then I loved that movie, but then years later when I got diagnosed with epilepsy, I was like, this is so strange. Like there's so many similarities between this movie and my own life. But I have never, I just think this is weird. Like whenever I talk to people about this, they just kind of look at me with these blank stares like they don't relate. Like I, honest to God, I have never, ever, ever in my life thought about like taking my life. I've never, like I don't know if it's my overwhelming fear of death or my inability to comprehend it all just being over. I don't know, like I've never consciously thought, like I've never had a plan, I've never thought about it. And I've had some bad days, you know, I mean, I've had some bad months, but I never, I don't know, like, you know, and I've had quite a few people in my life that have taken their lives. I think that might be part of it too, the wake that is left behind. I don't know, but the movie is fantastic, but very sad. But there's this scene at the beginning when her mom comes in and she's like, this is our last snowball. And she's like, and we're out of Hershey bars and she's like, where'd that peanut brittle go? And it reminded me of my mom. And then she's eating this snowball, you know, like this coconut snowball. And she's eating it and she's like, why does the coconut always fall off? And then she walks into the other room and Sissy Spacek walks in there to tell her something like serious, and she's like already gone into her bedroom to change, and she's left like this mess on the counter and the door open and stuff like that. And I was like, man, that really reminds me of my mom. Like my mom just like, I don't know, I just always took care of my mom. I think that's why I was so numb, kind of. Like, my mom was a very independent woman. Like, she didn't need me to, like, take care of her, right? But there were just things like that that reminded me of my mom. I don't know. I remember when my mom passed away and I came to her house and she had a cup of coffee still. She always warmed up coffee. Like, she'd, like, make coffee and then she'd have a cup and then she'd pour another cup and then throughout the day she'd warm it up in the microwave. And I found a cup of coffee in the microwave. I mean, it had mold in it and stuff. It had to have been there for a while. I just thought that was so weird. But yeah, it's a good movie. The music is so pretty in it. The music in all of those Martian Norman plays turned into movies like Crimes of the Heart is really pretty. It's just like this instrumental music. I love, little unknown fact about Peter, I love soundtracks, instrumental soundtracks to movies. In fact, some of my favorite instrumental soundtracks, Rush by Eric Clapton. I don't like the song that's at the end of the movie. That is another fantastic movie. Oh, you know, I need to download that movie too. If you've never seen Rush with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Patrick, what's his name? He's so good looking. He was in The Lost Boys. And they're DEA officers. That good. Hooked on drugs. Hooked on heroin. And they fall in love. It's such a great movie. This is another real sad movie though. But the soundtrack is fantastic. The soundtrack to Body Heat that came out, it came out like right after my mom passed away because my friend that was friends with my mom too, she introduced me to that soundtrack. It's like they redid it. Some orchestra redid it. Oh my God. I downloaded that movie tonight, Body Heat. Have you guys ever seen Body Heat with Kathleen Turner? That is a fantastic movie. I bought like 5 movies tonight. And the To Kill a Mockingbird soundtrack. I love that soundtrack so much. whole soundtrack is fantastic. What is the other soundtrack that I really, really like? I can't remember. It's such a good day today. I got up and I had plans to like just sit at home and film all these videos. I had it all like mapped out what I was gonna do and stuff. And then I had my recovery commitment early this afternoon, well, from 2 to 3. So I was like, when I was done with that, I was talking to Caroline. And so we've talked like every day this week, it seems like. So I went to that market district grocery store and I bought some stuff for our front porch. You guys, our front porch, it looks like cozy Christmas exploded on our front porch. Like, it is unbelievable. So I went to market district and I bought some things there. Then I wanted a doormat, and I did not realize what an obstacle this was going to be to buy a doormat. So I went to Menards. Menards has a huge, well, first of all, I walked in that market, I don't know why I can't say this word, market district. I went into market district, and that grocery store, if you guys have one in your area, it's very, very bougie. And I didn't walk around like the whole grocery store. It's pretty big. I'm gonna go in there sometime and do a video for my Peter Does Stuff channel, but it was really pretty in there, and the people were so nice. The girl that was working at the register was just really, really nice. So I went there, and then I went to Menards, and you guys, I haven't even been going places and getting coffee. I have been like so into the K-Cups. Like, it's kind of this routine now. Whenever I leave the house, I just make a cup of coffee, and I mean, I have probably saved, okay, today was Friday. I don't even think I went to go get coffee. Maybe I did one day this week. You know, a cup of coffee for me is like $4. So, I mean, I've saved like almost $20 just this week in coffee. That's crazy to me. Which is probably good since I'm shopping. I'm doing all this other stuff. I've been kind of like shopping like a little bit like crazy lately. I don't know why. It's just like I haven't throughout the rest of the year. I mean, there's been some like high-end purchases that Peter has made. When we were in Las Vegas for our anniversary, Alex and I did some high-end shopping, and I bought a couple things this year that were a couple bags that were pricey, and I don't regret it. I'm very happy that I did because I've really used them, and then I stopped, and but like, you know, like I put a certain amount of money aside every month. Like I think it's because like back in the day, like literally, I mean, Tanya and I would go to Meijer or Walmart 3-4 days a week, and I would spend $100 at a time, you know? And I didn't put that, I mean, that's, anyway. So, it's not like I'm putting aside $2,000 a month just to go below. It's nothing like that. But I do put money aside specifically for that, right? And then I put money aside for other things, and if I, like, don't spend it, or it's lower than that, or whatever, then I don't, like, I just move it to the next month. Well, now that it's getting towards the end of the year, it's like I have extra money, and I don't honestly have tons of Christmas presents to buy. There's just not tons of people to buy for. But anyway, then I went to Menards today, and they have a lot of Christmas stuff. It was really fun to walk through there. There were a lot of people looking at stuff, and they had this huge wreath. I mean, it was like probably 3 feet across. I don't know how much it was. I didn't put it on. I should have got it. I totally just should have bought it for our friend. But I already have 2 wreaths, you know? Because I bought one and then Caroline brought me one. So it's not like you guys, just wait. When I show you the front porch, you're going to die. Like, I mean, it is Like, it's literally like Cozy Christmas blew up. I went overboard. I know I did, but I'm like, I don't even care because I'm just going to enjoy it so much. And some of the things I bought, we can use year after year, and other things, well, we can't because they're just like evergreen stuff. But, so I went to Menards and I bought a few things there. I bought this like sign, which looks really cute on our front porch. And I bought some of those lantern things, you know, with like the fake candles in them. And they look really good. And then, well, one lantern thing and the other one's like a metal, it looks like a metal bag. You know, like those sand bags that people put in their driveways and stuff like that. I kind of like that look. But this one's like metal and then it has like a fake candle in it. Alex is trying to help me with it, but I need to, I almost cannot see anything without my reading glasses anymore, and now it's getting even worse than that. It's like with my reading glasses, I'm still having a hard time seeing like small stuff. So he was helping me with that, and I bought twinkle lights there too, but I bought the wrong kind. I wanted to buy the kind that have batteries in them, and I bought the kind that plug in. I always do something wrong like that. It's like I always like buy something wrong, you know? So Alex put the twinkle lights on one half, but like our extension cord won't go that far over to the other side, and so we need another extension cord. So I'm gonna buy one tomorrow, and then for the lanterns we need AAA batteries, so I've got to get those tomorrow too. So that's, and then the front porch is complete. It's done. I'm very excited about it. And then the only thing is this one lantern that I have out there from Pottery Barn. It, like the candle is kind of like this like warm yellow. And so, did I get that at Pottery Barn or Ikea? I think I got it at Ikea. So I'm going to get another like white, because I like the lantern out there with the Christmas stuff. This is like, I've had this since the summer. I got it this summer and had it out there. You guys don't care if I take the hat off, do you? My hat is itching my head. I know my hair looks horrible, but I don't care. I slept from like 12:30 to like 4:30. And now I'm wide awake. So I need to get like a white light for that, because I like the lantern out there with the Christmas stuff, which is crazy that I can use that year round. I never thought that I would be able to, that little lantern. So, yeah. I need to get a different candle. They're fake candles for out there. But it looks so pretty. I'm so happy how it turned out. I wish my other, I might wait until the other, what do you call it? Pillow cover comes. But I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when the other pillow cover is coming. So that was that, and then I bought more of the Malin & Getz lotion because I'm almost out, and I love the Malin & Getz dark rum lotion. I used it years ago when we were at that hotel that I was talking about the other day, the 21C. Oh, I need to talk about that book, by the way. And those were the, and I've had them at other hotels too, the Malin & Getz products. And then I saw that Chris and Ian, and they had it like, they showed their shower in like a TikTok or in a YouTube video or something. I don't know what it was, picture or something, I don't know. And they had like the shower gel in there. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you could buy like bigger containers, and it's expensive, but I love it. It is like my favorite go-to lotion right now. If you're looking for something to buy somebody for a Christmas present, they're like supposedly designed for men, but I mean anybody could use it. They have like a peppermint body body shower gel, and then they also have the dark rum, which is my favorite. Well, I had bought the roll-on oil, and the roll-on oil smelled so fantastic that I bought the cologne. And it was like expensive for this cologne, and it came today, and I was like, okay, this bottle is small. I mean, it's like 1.7 ounces. It was like $100, but I'm gonna like use it sparingly. It smells so good. It smells. I downloaded Perfect Storm tonight because my mom loved that movie so much. It reminds me of like a sailor, like on the East Coast, you know, like a fisherman sailor, with like big chunky sweater on, you know, like sitting in a bar late at night, you know, after, you know, he's been home for 24 hours and like showered and shaved and everything. That's what it smells like. It smells so good. It's a very sexy scent. And it smells really fresh and clean. When I was, you know what I loved when I was a kid? My dad used to wear, and I always keep a bottle of it now, and it's actually the deodorant I wear, and that's the Old Spice Original, the classic. Like, I love the smell of Old Spice, which, I mean, that is real super cheap. You can get that. Well, it's hard to find the deodorant. I always get it at Meijer, but it's like on the bottom row. It's also one of the only deodorants that for men that I can find that is antiperspirant and deodorant. But I don't like the other smells of, there's like a fresh one that I can kind of be okay with. I don't like all of the other Old Spice smells. I've used them from time to time. I've even bought the shower gels. They have a lot of different scents of shower gel and deodorants and body sprays and stuff like that. I mean, I can, other people have had them on and I think they smell good on other people, but they don't smell good on me and I don't like them. I just like the classic Old Spice. And it was so funny because my ex and I were on a plane years ago, and there was like this family of like 10 people, and there was this guy that was sitting next to me. He was so hubba hubba, and he had like a beard and a fedora on, and he was like the fun one of the group, you know? And he was probably like 30. Well, we found out, because we started talking to them, we found out that, or he was sitting right next to me. We found out that I can't remember where we were going. We were going somewhere, I can't remember, maybe St. Lucia. But we found out that he and his fiance were getting married, and that the rest of their family were coming with them. And he smelled so good. And I said to him, I said, at one point, I was so embarrassed. I said, I'm really embarrassed to ask you this, but I said, now I ask people all the time what cologne they have on if I like it, because I'm like, I want to smell, you know, that good too. But I said, I'm sorry to bother you. I said, but what cologne do you have on? He goes, oh, I don't wear cologne. He goes, you're probably smelling my deodorant. And I said, well, what is it? He goes, it's just classic Old Spice deodorant. And from that day on, I started wearing classic Old Spice deodorant. I found it as soon as I got home. And that's what I've worn ever since. And, yeah. So then from Menards, they didn't have doormats. They had like 4 doormats, and they were priced like $6.37, which I think is such a weird price for a doormat, to like $9.12 or whatever. Their prices are so weird in that store. Well, first of all, this is what I didn't understand. Okay, they had all this Christmas stuff in the middle, right? No doormats. So then I went out to the garden section because I thought, well, maybe they'll have doormats out there. So I go out there and like this guy's like, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I was just wondering if you guys had some holiday or Christmas doormats. And he was real nice. And he was like, well, if we did, he was like, they would be over in the flooring section. He goes, you go through electrical and whatever. So I had to like walk all the way through the entire store to get to the flooring section, of which that is where they had them. They were the junkiest doormats I have ever seen. Like, they literally, well, first of all, they were like paper thin, and they just looked corny. They didn't even look like doormats. They looked like place settings, like at a kid's Christmas party or something. So I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. And I knew Meijer would have one, and then I got out to my car after I paid for my stuff there. And I was like, well, maybe I'll go to Target. I was like, I bet Target has some really cute ones. But at that point, at some point in my journey today, I just was kind of like, I was just like, well, if I get home in time to film videos, I get home in time to film videos. But I'm really having fun, like, hunting down all of this Christmas stuff. So if I don't, look at my hair, how crazy it looks. I was like, if I don't get home in time to film videos, then I'll just film videos tomorrow. So, Alex got off work early today. He went over to his aunt's house. So, like, at 2 or 2:30, like when I was going to my recovery commitment, he went over to his aunt's house to hang out with his grandma. So, he hung out with his grandma all afternoon, his abuela, and she made him a lunch. She made him arepas. And then he hung out with his Uncle Ed as well. And then his mom came over there. And then they stayed there till about 7:30 or 8. 8:30, 7:30 to 8:30, somewhere in there. And then he came home, and the camera stopped. And I honestly don't know when it stopped and what I was saying, because the red lights were flashing, and I was kind of like, I was sitting there, I wasn't moving, and I was like, because like, you know, I'm there all the time at that light, and I'm like, why is it flashing? And it like took me out of sorts. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so then I went to, I was gonna go to Target, but I was like, no, I don't want to go, because it would have been like a 15-minute, 20-minute drive all the way over there to like drive half an hour back to my house. So I was like, I'm not gonna go all the way over there. Plus, they'll probably be too expensive, and I'll end up buying a bunch of other crap that I don't need, because I love Target. So I was like, instead, I am going to. Oh, and by this point, I was listening to my new Tanya Kappas cozy mystery book. And no, it's not Criminals or Campers and Criminals. I'm listening to another series by her. I don't know what the series is called. It has something to do with like Coffee House something series. But the first book is called Scene of the Grind, and I am so into it already. So anyway, she is a really, really fantastic cozy mystery writer, and her books are super short, you guys. Like, this book is like 5 hours and 51 minutes. It's super short. All her books are around 6 hours or less on Audible. So, I was driving around listening to that, and I've been drinking my coffee and just really enjoying my day. I was having such a good day. And so then I got to Meijer, and I was like, oh, well, why don't I film? This is what I think I was saying, right, as the camera shut off. I was like, why don't I film a video, like, showing the entire Christmas section at Meijer? So I went in and I did that. I had already filmed some at Market District, because I was going to actually use like what I filmed there for, is Starbucks open already? I know that Dunkin' Donuts opens early, but is Starbucks open early? So I was going to use that for like showing like what I bought and did with my front porch, but I ended up using it for this like shopping video instead. And I had a really good time doing that. That was fun. And there really weren't a lot of people in there. There was like, while I was in the section, there was like 3 or 4 people that came like through there. So it really wasn't that busy while I was in there today, which was nice. Because it's kind of hard to film in stores sometimes when people are there. I mean, people are always really cool about it, and they don't really know what I'm doing anyway. I think most of the time, because I film it on my phone, they think that I'm like FaceTiming somebody or something. I don't know. But anyway, people are always just super nice about it. And so I went through there, and I ended up getting a doormat from there that I found. It says Merry Christmas, and it has a little like pickup truck with a Christmas tree on it. It's real cute. It's very cozy mystery. And then I came home and I unloaded all the stuff, and I got my front porch ready and uploaded the video, fed the dogs, did all that. And then I was so hungry, and Alex wasn't hungry because he ate like a late lunch. So I went to Panda Express for the 9 millionth time this week. I'm like obsessed with Panda Express. And got more of their chow mein and fried rice and cream cheese rangoons and veggie spring rolls. I'm like just obsessed with Panda Express. And you know what is so funny is, for the longest time, I thought that Panda Express sucked. Like, I just was like, I liked their orange chicken back in the day. But after that, I just was like, I'm just not like really thrown down with Panda Express. I don't know. I must have had like one bad experience. Has that ever happened to you? Where you have like one bad experience and then you're like, yeah, I don't like Panda Express. Because I just always kind of was like, Panda Express is junk. But Panda Express is so not junk, I'm obsessed. And they're always packed too. Their drive-thru is always packed. I have never, well, I shouldn't say never say never. It's been a long time since I have ever seen a group of, it's been a long time since I've seen a group of people hustle as hard as they hustle inside Panda Express. I mean, they each know their job, and there's like one gal in there that like does all the cooking, and they're like shouting stuff at her the entire time, and she's got like this going in one bowl and this going in another one and these things going in the fryers. I mean, it is unbelievable how she keeps it all together. And then they've got, you know, like 4 people in line inside the store, plus people eating in there. And as soon as somebody goes through the line, another person comes inside the store, and then their drive-thru is all the way around the building. I'm like, this is insanity. I don't think it hurt them to have, and this is a rather new Panda Express too, the one at Castleton. I don't think it hurt them to have the California Burger go in right next to them, because California Burger is like really busy all the time. Which, by the way, I said to Melissa the other day, I said, have you even been to that we were going to dinner and we passed it. It was when we were going to dinner and we passed it. And I said, have you been to that California Burger yet? And she goes, oh my God, I'm obsessed. And I go, you've been there? She goes, several times. She goes, they have the best chili cheese fries in the entire world. And I said, well, I can't have chili cheese fries, but she goes, their food is so good and so fresh. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try California. The problem is the line is always like a mile long. So I got by the way, my coffee tonight is Maud's coffee, and it is almond biscotti. Blonde almond biscotti. Blonde almond biscotti. And this is the one I really wanted to try. And I think there might only be one biscotti K-cup in the entire box, because took me forever to find it. And I thought that I wouldn't like it because of the almond taste, but it's not bad at all. It kind of tastes like a Starbucks Verona with like a sugar cookie melted inside of it is what it tastes like. My favorite coffee of the season, though, so far is the gingerbread. I love the gingerbread from Starbucks that I bought in the K-cups. I've got to figure out what to do with these K-cups. They're just like sitting in boxes on the counter. I mean, I guess I could just sit there. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, I have a drawer where I keep, like right in front of the coffee maker, where I keep like 3 boxes of K-cups. So I need to go in there and take the ones out that I don't want to use and put the new ones in there. I also like have a little like silver, I think my mom used it. It's something in the bathroom she used to use it for. I thought it was like a flower vase. It is a flower vase, I think, but it's sterling silver. It's so pretty. And I have it next to the coffee maker with all the sweet and low in it that I use for coffee. But anyway, so yeah, that was pretty much my day. I had a good day. And then Alex, we hung out tonight after I ate. I watched an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Canada. So I've like finished 2 episodes. I finished I caught up on RuPaul's Drag Race UK last night. And it's next week is the finale, the grand finale. So it's down to the final 3. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, so I won't say anything, but I will say this. I was extremely impressed with the top 4. The person that got eliminated before the final 3, I thought showed so much growth on the season. A. B. was such a class act. And C. was so humble. And they really were like sisters, the top 4, and really loved each other, you could really tell. And it's almost kind of like the bitterness is so different than anything that it's like, the lack of bitterness is something that is so different than what you see on like the US shows. In fact, I don't know if anybody watches Dragula. I know there's a few of you that watch Dragula, but like there's this whole thing going around right now that they have like never experienced on Dragula before, and it's kind of surprising to me, but they're kind of saying that they think it's based on like how big the show has gotten. But the queens, like their fandoms are attacking each other online and attacking the girls or attacking the queens and saying like really horrific things to them and like hate speech kind of stuff. And I'm like, this is so sad to me. Like, I just don't, the online hate stuff for me, I just don't understand. It's like, I don't know, Tony and I were talking about drama today. Like, we used to have so much drama in our personal lives, just with groups of friends and family and other friends and whatever. I just don't have it today in my life. I just don't, I don't have all of that toxicity in my life. And some of it, yes, I could say is because I've eliminated toxicity from my life, because I believe that I have. The other part of it, though, is that, like, you know, Tanya always says as you get older, I want to read this thing that she posted on her Facebook and tagged me in because I love it. But Tanya always talks about how as you get older, the road gets narrower. You know, it's like, as I've gotten older, I don't really have that many people in my life. And the people that I do have aren't, like, toxic negativity. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't even think that it's been, this is what I was going to say. I don't even think it's been such a conscious decision through the years. I just think, like, the people that just wear me down over time, I kind of stopped calling them, you know, or, like, we stopped doing stuff together because I would do something and I just was so worn out, or it was just, you would go to a, you know, a dinner or a lunch and it was just me, and you leave and you're like, why did I just waste 2 hours of my life just listening to this person complain about their seemingly amazing life, and all they do is complain, you know? And so the next time they'd ask me, I, you know, wouldn't go. And I think just over time what happened is, you know, it was, I used to have 20 people, and then I had 10, and then now I have 5 or something. I don't know. It just was like, I just don't have that in my life anymore. And, you know, I think the other thing is, like, a lot of us that were part of that toxicity, and even myself at times being greatly negative, I think a lot of us have worked on ourselves. So many of us have changed over the years as well, and we aren't negative like we used to be, and we're not drama-filled like we used to be. And, you know, I would love to say that I think that, like, that drama is something that is, like, part of your youth, but I know a lot of people that are very dramatic into their 50s and 60s. I really do, you know, and I just don't love the emotional, the battery's dying anyway. I was going to pull in here and read this thing from Tanya, so I can pull in there and change my battery. But I also don't love the emotional, like, hangover that comes with all of that, or the emotional roller coaster of just, I just don't like that. I just don't like that feeling of, I just don't like it. It's not worth it to me. You know, and I don't care if my life is boring or simple. This is like a perfect transition into what I'm going to read you guys. But I don't care if my life is boring or simple. It's much better than being involved in all that craziness, you know? I was, like, looking at these pictures of Tina Mojo was posting these pictures on Instagram today. I know you're like, what? And I was, like, looking at these pictures and I thought, don't you ever get tired? Like, I mean, do you ever just have, like, a day or two where you just sit around the house and watch Netflix? Don't you ever get tired of just always being so hyped up? And, you know, because, like, when I was using and whatever, that was kind of my life, right? But it's like, I don't know, at some point, don't you kind of want to just, like, settle down a little bit? It's a lot. It's a lot of energy, you know? And I was watching that and I just was like, oh, please don't tell me that I didn't bring another battery. Was I standing there in the kitchen? I meant to bring it and I didn't bring it. Oh. I don't think I have another battery, you guys. And I am not close to home. Yeah, I don't have another battery. I wanted to read this thing from Tanya. And it's really, I'm going to have to go home and get this battery to finish it. Shoot. How did I do that? Well, I'll drive home. And get the other battery. I can't believe I did this in my pocket. I must have just, like, not, I thought I grabbed it at the very last minute. I can't believe I did that. Anyway, well, I'm gonna run home and grab the battery. God, it's already 5:52 a.m. And then I will finish the vlog out. And so anyway, I gotta drive 15 or 20 minutes back home to get the battery. But anyway, I will be back in just a second. Bye. Okay, I'm back. My neighbor just left to take the dog out for a walk. It is 6:11 a.m. and it is so cold. He had his coat pulled up, his hood over his, he has like one of those car coats, you know, he had it like pulled up over his over his head. It's so cold. I said, are you tired? And he goes, yeah. And then he kind of laughed. He walks the dog like all the way through the neighborhood in the morning and then comes back. I wanted to read this thing that Tanya put up. What was this last picture that I took? Where is it? It was this thing that she tagged me in and now I can't find it. I screenshot. Oh, here it is. So she tagged me this little meme thing on Facebook, and it says, the older I get, the more I realize I don't want to be around drama, conflict, or stress. I want a cozy home, good friend, I want a cozy home, good food, and to be surrounded by happy people. I love that so much. I think it's so true, you know? I was thinking about that movie on my drive home, Night Mother, and I don't know why I was having this thought. I think I was thinking about, like, you know, my uncle, when he said, I asked him if, you know, if he was going to watch some TV show. There I'm passing my neighbor with the dog. And, he was like, no, because I don't think I would make it to next season or something like that. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's all the way down. And I can remember thinking how sad that was, you know? I guess none of us, though, obviously know how long we're going to be here. But I think about that sometimes, you know, like, the older you get, it's like, it's one thing when you're like 40 or you're in your 30s, you know, or in your 40s even, I guess, you know, like late 40s like me, you realize, like, okay, I'm blessed I've made it this far, and, you know, that some tragic accident hasn't occurred so far or whatever, or that I've gotten sick, and I've had a good life, right? But then you also are kind of like, it seems like when you have friends of yours whose parents are in their 70s, or like my dad is in his 80s, you know, and you think, well, I've still got a lot of good life ahead of me, right? Like, my dad is like, lives a good life, and he's 81, and I'm going to be 50 next year. So that's like 30 more years, you know, that I could have a good life and travel and whatever, right? But then you have to also, I would think, like at that age, be like, you know, my dad made some comment to me, and my mom's friend Susie said this to me too, about like everybody that they knew is gone. And I think that would be so hard to realize that on some level, like, you're kind of like next, like, you know, you're not going to be, I mean, even if you live to be 100, it's like, you're, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like, I would think that would be so hard. And I was thinking about that movie, you know, and I hadn't watched it in forever, Night Mother. And I was thinking to myself, you never really know the last time you're ever going to see some movie. And I think that thought, like, would have made me so sad back in the day. But it was different tonight. It was like, I thought to myself, well, how many times do you need to see a movie? You know what I mean? Like, of course I had this thought after I've purchased all these movies, but when I was younger, I could watch a movie over and over and over again. You know, I could, and I still can. Like, there are some movies that I love to watch. Anything with Melissa McCarthy. I don't know why she cracks me up so much. I just really like her as an actress. But, like, especially like Bridesmaids, I can watch that over and over and over again. But when I was younger, I used to watch so many, like, sad, dramatic movies, like, out of Africa. I just kind of, like, at one point in my life, I just had it on repeat, you know, in my apartment. And, whenever I imagine myself, like, doing certain things, I always see myself in my first apartment. So that must have been, like, either the first year I got sober or before that. But I think mostly it was, like, when I was, like, drinking and using, that I would watch a lot of movies on repeat. Like, I would watch, to Kill a Mockingbird like over. I would fall asleep every night watching To Kill a Mockingbird. Alex can't fall asleep with TV on, but I can tell you right now that if he could, I would still fall asleep with a movie on in the background. I love to fall asleep with a movie on in the background. Whenever he goes out of town or anything, I always fall asleep watching something. Sometimes I fall asleep, like, I'll put on, like, The Love Boat on my phone or whatever, and then I'll fall asleep watching that. I remember there was this guy that I became friends with when I was... It's after I was sober. Probably, I was like... Maybe it was that summer. And he and I became friends. I can't, like, through another guy that I was friends with. And he lived with his parents in Bloomington. And I really had a bad crush on this guy. I mean, this guy was so cute. Do you know what's so weird is? I have really tried to, like, look him up through the years. Because I've really tried to, I wanted to find out what happened to him. Because he ended up being such a con man. And, I cannot remember his last name to save my life. But anyway, I know his first name and I know his last initial. But then after that, I don't know how I would ever find it. Like I don't know how I would find his name, you know? I guess I could ask that guy that I was friends with 30 years ago, 26 years ago. But I haven't talked to him in 26 years, 25 years or something. But anyway. I remember I was like really, really into this guy. And so he was like, and he lived with his parents in Bloomington, and he was like, why don't you come down and visit me in Bloomington? And I was like, okay. We met through some other friends, I think. But anyway, yeah, that guy, because that guy, like, knew him. Like, they had dated when he was in Bloomington. So I was like, okay. So I came down, and I was supposed to stay there the night. Like, we were going to, like, hang out and go swimming and stuff. His parents had a pool. They lived out in the middle of nowhere, like, in the country. I remember they had, like, a really nice house in the middle of nowhere in the country. And he was so charming. I mean, he was, like, stunning good looks. Like, dark hair. And I've always liked guys with, like, really dark hair. And, he just was really cute. Anyway. I remember, this is what I was going to tell, was, like, I remember we walked into, like, his room was in the basement, and I remember, like, on the floor, and I was like, I can remember thinking to myself, did I tell him that? Like, on the floor in the basement was the VCR tape cover, like, the jacket for To Kill a Mockingbird. And he said, I said, do you like To Kill a Mockingbird? And I thought it was so strange, you know, because, like, I mean, this is 1995. I mean, it's not like everybody's, like, breaking out To Kill a Mockingbird and watching it, you know? And plus, I had, like, this personal story related to it with my mom, because my mom and I used to watch it so much. And he was like, oh, yeah. He said, I love it. He was like, I always just have it, like, in the VCR, like, when I'm falling asleep at night. And I can remember thinking, oh, my God, we have, like, this is, like, kismet, you know, like, this is perfect. And, man, I found out later that he, like, I mean, he was just shady character, shady boots, and shady character. Like, very much missed bullet that I didn't get involved with him. But you know what's so weird about it is, I was so hurt because I really, really liked him, and he never hit on me. Like, that whole night, he never hit on me. You know, the weirdest thing is, I had these crushes on so many different guys when I was younger, and I never understood why they never hit on me. Like, I never got it, right? And I've talked to a couple of them since, and like, this one friend of mine, he and I both came out at the same time, I went to all these drag shows and stuff. He had a boyfriend during a lot of that time who his boyfriend was super hot too, but I always had this like big, huge crush on him. And later, like he told me, and this was kind of the common theme, like whenever somebody, like I would have such a crush on somebody, I don't know if maybe I was oblivious to them flirting on me. I'm like, hold on a second. I have found out like later in life that like, this is where I feel kind of like naive and maybe, I don't want to say innocent, but stupid about the world. I don't know, because, you know, whereas like, gay men are pretty forthright with what they want, you know what I mean? And hooking up. And it was going on all around me. Not to say that I didn't have my fair shares of, you know, one-night stands, but I really didn't. I mean, not that many. And, I mean, enough to sow your seeds when you're younger, right? But like, and all of these guys that I have these huge crushes on when I was younger, they all told me later in life, they were like, Peter, I was so intimidated by you. And I'm like, what? They're like, we were so intimidated by you. Like, they didn't say we, but each one of them had said individually, like, I was so intimidated by you, like, I would never have hit on you. Like, I felt like you were, like, just, like, you were, and most of this was when after, like, I got sober. But they were like, you know, you were so cute and you had your stuff together. A lot of people told me later that my sobriety intimidated them, which I thought was interesting. Because I always felt like that. Like earlier in my sobriety, I didn't, like today, I feel like it's a strength. But when I first got sober, I thought it was something that like kept me separated from other people. Like they wouldn't want to date somebody. Like Alex's girlfriends, like I've tried to hook up several of them with like guys that I know in recovery, and they're like, I don't want to date a guy that's sober. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, well, I want to be able to like enjoy a drink or a glass of wine or a beer, you know, with somebody that I'm like with. And I mean, and I get that, I totally do, right? And that's kind of the attitude that I thought most guys would have back in the day. I don't know, I just think that's so funny. So I finished, finally, A Dark Room in Glitterball City. I really liked it. I really, really liked the end of it. The end of it, the last, I would say, third of the book redeems the rest of the book. I gave it 4 stars. It was really pretty good. But I will say at the very end, like in the epilogue, or maybe right before the epilogue, he's like so worn out from the story and researching the story. And his friend's like, you said you were going to plan a trip, right? And he was like, yeah, to Savannah. And he was like, you should go. And I'm like, oh, Savannah, huh? And Savannah is where Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil takes place. And I don't know, it just, is that the moon right there? I can't believe it's so pretty. It just, there was so much of it that reminded me of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. It just, I don't know. It just, if you read them like side by side, they're very similar. But it was a good book. It was very interesting. I thought the last third totally redeemed the rest of the book. If the first 2/3 had been at the pace and the interest level of the last third, I think the whole book would have been fantastic, like 5-star New York Times bestseller list. And I think that some people would argue that it needed to be slower to set up the last third. And in most books, I would agree with that, but I don't agree with that in this book. I don't think you need it, the setup. And I also think it could have been, I think a quarter of this book could have been cut out if the editing had been done correctly. There just was a lot in there that was frivolous, that wasn't needed. I mean, it was just extra, you know, like these parties and stuff. They didn't really, there were some characters that were kind of like sub-characters, like, you know, like background noise to the whole story that, like, I think built this idea of Louisville that he wanted to display. And he followed up and explained what happened to them at the end of the book, which that was an interesting part of the book. But, like, you didn't need to know about all of these extra characters. I mean, all these parties, on and on and on. In fact, really, like, the only drag queens that are in this book when it's about a drag queen being killed is, I mean, he never goes to a drag show, is about these 2 drag queens that are at this party, and he keeps on running into these 2 drag queens at parties. And it's interesting because he makes these drag queens, well, first of all, they, like, show up at parties in, like, full drag, and they talk, like, the way that he has them talk is like they're women, which implies almost that they're trans. Now, you have to understand it. He finished writing this book in 2021, okay? 2020, 2021. So, it's not like this book is dated. So, it's these 2 drag queens that he keeps on running into at these parties, and they, like, perform and stuff. And he's like, but, like, they talk kind of like women a little bit. Like, the way that the dialogue is. And so it's like, well, they're showing up to these parties and just sitting around, and they're not gay parties. They're like just artsy parties of people that, like, who's who of Louisville. And there's these 2 drag queens that are sitting there, and I'm like, are they trans, or are they in drag? Like, and there's a lot of that in the book that is very, to me, dated in how he describes people. But, like, for this, you know, it was about this drag queen that got killed, who was, like, this very famous drag queen, supposedly, from, like, Virginia. I've never heard of this person. Not Monica. I thought it was Monica at first, and then I had to slow down the book, because I was like, Ronica Reed. Never heard of Ronica Reed in my entire life, and I followed drag for 30 years, but maybe she was famous. I don't know. She won one pageant. It was like Miss Sunbar. But like, he never, like, it would have been interesting for him to go there, and, like, he did talk to, like, an old friend that, like, knew Ronica Reed, the performer. Like, that was, like, one part of the book, and that was, like, interesting. But it would have been interesting for him to, like, actually go to that town and, like, go to a show at that bar and talk to, like, queens that had worked with him, you know? Like, that would have been interesting to me. There was none of that in the book. I don't know, there just was, like, to me, some missed opportunities in the book. And I really think what he wanted to do is, I think he really wanted to write a book about Louisville, Kentucky. What's interesting is, at the end of the book, he talks about a lot about, like, the lockdown, and he talks about how he started a podcast where he was telling, I think it's a podcast or YouTube channel or something, where he's telling, like, ghost stories and old stuff about Louisville. And I almost kind of, like, at that point, I was like, is that what this book is? Is this book, like, marketing for, like, you are, like, the historian of Louisville kind of thing? You know, to, like, build his own career of, like, a Louisville historian kind of thing. I don't know, like, it almost kind of gave me that impression. But he said that they, like, built a family online of people that, like, listened to his ghost stories of Louisville and stuff like that. It was an interesting read. I'm glad I read it. You know, I would recommend it to people now. If you live in the Midwest, if you've ever been to Louisville, the book would be interesting to you. If you haven't, it's not that thorough of a case. The case is not that interesting. Yeah, and there's a lot of buildup about the case that there's no follow-through in the book. The book really isn't so much about the case, in all honesty. Anyway, so I finished that, and then I started this new series by Tanya Kappes. Her last name is Kappes. She is hands down my favorite cozy mystery writer next to Jana DeLeon. And I haven't read anything by Jana DeLeon besides the Misfortune series, of which I need to, because her other books are not as well liked as her Misfortune series. And I have a couple of them downloaded, so I need to, like, check out a couple of those books. But anyway, so I started this one. I think there's 2 or 4 books in the series. So I think 2 or 4 books in the series, I think. Yes, because the 3rd one's a Christmas book. And then the 4th one's out. And then the next one comes... This isn't a recent series. She just started it in, like, 2019 or 2020. And there's 4 books in the series, and the next book comes out in March. And this one is called Scene of the Grind. And it's about this woman, and she moves to this place called Honey Springs, which is where her Aunt Maxie lives. Maxine, but she calls her Maxie. And she used to come there in summers, and she loves this town. And she's recently gone through a horrible divorce because her husband was cheating on her. And she was an attorney, and she decided at 4 o'clock in the morning, one morning, while drinking a really good cup of coffee, that she wanted to go to barista school. So she goes to barista school, and then she comes there, and her aunt owns the building, and so she starts this store called The Bean, like B-E-A-N, like coffee bean, The Bean Hive. Every store in this town is named after something to do with like bees or honey, and they're having the annual honey festival. It's almost too much, but it's like, if it were in the context of any book besides a cozy mystery, I would say it's too much, but in a cozy mystery, it totally works. I mean, everything has got to do with honey or bees. It's real cute. And she has recipes in it too, which I like that when they do it, even though I don't cook. One of the things that I thought this was kind of interesting. So they're having this like festival. If I understood it correctly, has anybody ever done this before? I thought, when she described it, I thought, is she talking about like muffins that she's making? Or is she just going to have like a cup? So she said she had extra berries that were delivered, and that she was going to just add them to honey. But I thought she was talking about making muffins, but then I was like, or is she just going to put them like in a little, paper cup, like berries and honey? And I thought that would be a fantastic dessert, don't you think? With like a scoop of ice cream or something. I think that would be so good. Like a scoop of vanilla ice cream, berries and honey. That's more like ice cream though. But has anybody just had berries and honey before? I was like, I've never thought of that. That sounds really good. But on granola, it would be really good as well. Anyway. So, yeah, I'm reading that, and I really like it. It's about this woman. Her name's Roxanne. She goes by Roxy. Her aunt's Maxie. There's 2 love interests. I guess in every one of Tiny Kappa's series, there's 2 love interests. So this one, it's the guy that owns he's a contractor. He owns like a construction company. His dad. And he used to be her boyfriend in high school, and then they had some huge falling out, like when she moved away, but we don't know why. And it involved this other woman that lives in town. Oh, that Christmas tree is so pretty. But inside their house, you can see it in there. There's something to me very nostalgic and beautiful about a multicolored Christmas tree that I love. And then, his name is Patrick. And so there's like old longing feelings there, and he's very protective of her. And then there is the police detective, and his name, or officer, and his name is Spencer, and he has blonde, shaggy hair that comes down past his ears, which is very similar to, she must love somebody with blonde, shaggy hair, because in the last series, there was blonde, shaggy hair as well. Tanya said, did you finish those 20 books already? I said, no, Tanya, I'm on like book 5, but I'm switching series for a moment. She started laughing. I was telling her tonight, I said, on the Goodreads Choice Awards, that book, The Maidens, that we read was on there that you hated. And she goes, I don't think I read that book. I go, yes, you did, Tanya. I said, don't you remember? It was about, and I was like, it was about this and this and this. And I said, and then you figured it out because we were talking about it on the phone, and you're like, oh, yeah. And she interrupted me, and she goes, yeah, so-and-so did it. And I go, you do remember it? She goes, oh, yeah, I remember that book. But anyway, she reads so many books, she doesn't even know. This book that I'm listening to is my 100th book this year, you guys, that I have read. My goal was 102. So I'm going to reach way past that this year. I remember last year and the year before. Was last year the first year that I made my goal, or was it the year before? I feel like this is 3 years in a row that I have read. Here, I'm going to look in here and see really quick, because you can look up your past years. Was last year my first year and it was 100, and then I made this year 102, or was last year 101 and the year before that was 100? I don't honestly remember. Whatever, I think it was 100. The first year that I made it like bigger was 100. I think it was just the last 2 years. Reading challenge. Past challenges. Ooh. Yeah, 2019 I read 40 out of 100 books. And last year, I read 100 out of 100 books. And this year, I'm at 99 out of 102 books. You know, people always ask me, they're like, the moon is so beautiful tonight, it's full. I think it's full. Somebody messaged me and said something about what kind of moon it was last night, and I should look out for it. But, what was I gonna say? I don't even remember now. Oh, people always ask me, like, why, like, this push to read so many books? Like, why does it matter if you read 5 or whatever? I don't think it really does, honestly. I mean, I think, you know, like, well, personally, this is how I feel. I feel like when you read, you are, whatever you read, magazine article, graphic novels. I just actually ordered 2 graphic novels online, and the new Alice Oseman book from the Heartbreaker series comes out in January. It will be delivered to my door the day it comes out. I cannot wait. I pre-ordered it. Oh, by the way, I bought the Adele album tonight and listened to it. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But anyway, so my unpopular opinion about Adele's album. This is so pretty over here. They have like a wreath and like a garland and stuff over there. It's so pretty. But anyway, River Lynn. What was I gonna say? I feel like I've lost my mind. Oh, I mean, I don't think it really matters, right? I do think that if you read more, I do think, like, it keeps you, like, your brain more alert. And I also think that, like, it's, you know, furthered my vocabulary through the years, because words I don't know I've looked up or I've learned to use them in context. I think it's given me a broader vocabulary through the years. You know, I think it's fun to talk about books. It's a way to escape. But I don't think it really matters what you read or how you read or any of that kind of stuff. You know, it's always interesting because I always get these people that are like, you don't read, you only listen to Audible books. Well, I do both, number one. But second of all, it's so funny to me because anybody on BookTube, like nobody on BookTube or Bookstagram, like there's no difference to them between Audible and books. Like they don't care. And I actually have a dear friend that's a librarian at a school, and she almost like exclusively listens to Audible, even though she's bringing in the books for the kids. So I always get people that are like, they always like come for me and they're like, you don't read books, you just like listen to books on Audible. And I'm like, okay, do you realize there's people that can only listen to audiobooks, like they can't physically read a book? So are you saying that they aren't reading a book? Well, that's different. For them, it's different. Oh, okay. So for them, it is reading a book. For me, it's not reading a book because I can physically read a book. Okay, gotcha. But what's so funny about it is that when I first like started on BookTube, I was like, when I would get a comment like that on like well, I wasn't when I first started BookTube, it was when I first got those comments, like let's say 6 months to a year of being on YouTube, right after, right? I was like, I felt really weird about it. I was like, oh God, people don't think it's reading or whatever. I used to care so much what people thought, and I just don't anymore. I'm just like, live your life, do what makes you happy, and don't worry about the rest. You can't control what people are going to think about you anyway, you know? And that's probably been one of the greatest things that's come to me. This is so pretty over here. Oh, do they have the Christmas lights at Conner Prairie that you can drive through now? Or walk through? I want to do that. How do you do it? And how much is it? That's the real truth right there. Oh, they do have it up already this year, or do they just have some of it up? They just have some of it up. It'll be up in time for Thanksgiving. See, this used to be the John Deere thing, and now it's over here. Which, at John Deere, it was free, and you could just drive through, and now they have it over here with a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, I remember the first year that I did BookTube-a-thon. So this would have been around July of that year, I think. And, so which would have coincided with, like, me doing, I don't know, it would have been, like, right after I had, maybe it was the second year I did BookTube-a-thon. And Ariel Bassett said on there, we don't care how you read a book, read a magazine, or read a book, read a graphic novel, listen to it on Audible, whatever, just read the book, you know? And I can remember watching that, and it was like, and then that year, The camera stopped. I didn't even know that I was anywhere close to the end. I was talking about the book Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion, which I read a couple pages a day. And I love that book, and it's beautiful, but they're all essays. And like I said, I don't know what I said or if it cut me off, but it's a lot different than I thought it would be. And I got that book recommended, not personally, I wish, but by Dan Levy. It was like this video I watched of like 10 things that he can't live without, or 12 things he can't live without, and one of them was a copy of Joan Didion Slouching Towards Bethlehem, and that he keeps it with him everywhere he goes. I don't know that I think it's the book that I would keep with me everywhere I go, but yes, it's an interesting book. It's a good book. And another thing was like black Prada pants, and I looked them up, and they're like $700, because I thought, well, I'll get Alex a pair for work, and he loves Dan Levy. They're $700 a pair of these pants, and he always has like 3 or 4 pairs of them wherever he goes. I'm sure he can afford it. So yeah, what was I talking about before all that? I don't know, the cozy mystery stuff, but I love this new series that I'm reading. It's crazy though, because I can remember last year being like, am I going to make it to 100? Can I make it to 100? Can I make it to 100? Am I going to make it to 100? You know, and then here it is. It's not even December 1st, and I'm almost at my goal for the year, and which was over what my goal was last year. Oh, this is what I was going to say. You know, like, none of it matters, like, how many books you read and whatever, but I will say this as somebody that loves to read. The more I read, the more books I consume, the more characters I'm introduced to, the more worlds I am introduced to, and that is what I love about reading. So, for me, no, it's not about how fast can I make it through a book. Like, I like to savor a book, but, like, if I can listen to it at a faster speed, I do, but I can listen to something very fast because I speak so fast. But I just love to be introduced to new characters and new worlds and all this kind of stuff. Like, it really does feel like part of my life. It really, really does. Like, especially with these cozy mystery series. Like, God, I never thought I would ever love a series, you know? But I do. So anyway. So that was my day, and that's the books, and that's everything going on in my life and all my thoughts. So I finished the front porch. The front porch is finished for 2021 Christmas holiday season. And tomorrow, I do not know what I'm going to do. This car is like racing behind me. Oh my gosh. I do not know what I am going to do tomorrow other than make videos. I don't know if Alex and I will go to brunch tomorrow or something maybe. I don't know. And then I did want to see if I could find like a black turtleneck sweater. Tomorrow night we are going out to dinner. Our friend Demetrius is in town from Denver, and he was one of Alex's, like, one of 3, like, well, one of 2 closest friends. It was him and another guy. The 3 of them were like super, super close friends when I first met Alex. And so I've known Demi as long as I have known Alex. So Alex and I, our first date was on a Monday, and I met Demi that Wednesday. And we like really bonded right away because his mom had just passed away and my mom had just passed away. And so anyway, he is coming home with his boyfriend for 2 days. And we're going out to dinner tomorrow night. And then we are also, I don't know. They'll probably go out. I don't know if I'll go out or not. I know that they'll be like, come on, go out, go out, go out. We'll just see how I feel about it. I'm going to wear black jeans, and I'm going to wear my black Doc Marten boots. And then I'm either going to wear like a black, maybe just like a black t-shirt with this jacket that I have, or I think I'm going to wear like this black Ralph Lauren button-up that I have that I wore to my friend Mike's celebration for life. But if I can find like a turtleneck sweater that I'm looking for, like a black sweater, I might wear that too. And And then Sunday is brunch and videos and relaxing. And then I can't believe it's Thanksgiving week. Monday, I don't really feel like I have a lot going on this next week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm just gonna film videos. That's just basically my week. And then, I'd like to try to go get the booster one of those days. I don't know what's it like where you guys are, but like in Indianapolis, you can basically just walk in and get it. Alex just walked in and got his. Tanya's husband just got his a couple weeks ago. Alex got his 2 weeks ago. So there's different places that you can go here. I thought you had to like fill out a bunch of stuff, but you don't have to, I guess. And it's also obviously not an age thing because Alex is, 37, he got his. So, I want to do that. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, film videos. I probably will try to pre-film some videos for Thursday and Friday, but if not, Friday I'll probably film videos. But Thursday, I will not film videos, obviously, because it's Thanksgiving. I'd like to pre-film something. I'd like to do a rant video to have it up on Thanksgiving. So maybe I'll try to do that and have that up for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving rant. That would be kind of fun. And then Friday, I'm going Black Friday shopping. I'm going to be up and in my car. I may just vlog that night. I may come home and like after Thanksgiving dinner and go to bed real early. And I may vlog that night at like 5 in the morning on my way to Edinburgh Outlet Mall. Or I might vlog that night and then just listen to an audiobook on the way down there, like a Christmas audiobook. That's probably what I'll do. But I don't think anybody wants to go with me this year. Tanya definitely doesn't want to go, and she has to work. She's on a waiting list right now. She is so full next week at the kennel. Alex said there's nothing that he really wants. I go, there's nothing that you want? He goes, no, not really. And I go, and I started telling him some of the stores. He was like, well, maybe, we'll see. I was like, okay. I don't really care if I go by myself. In all honesty, like, it would be fun for Alex to go because we get coffee, and whatever. But if Alex doesn't want to go, like, for me, it's almost easier because I can just, like, run in and out of stores and then, like, every 5 or 10 stores, like, change my parking space. And Alex and I don't love going to the same places either. That's the other thing. But I think that Alex could get a lot of, like, really great buys down there, and he loves to shop. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. But my plan is to be down there right at 6 o'clock when they open. And then stay till, like, no later than 8. Be on the road. Be home by 9. Go back to bed till like 12 or 1, and then get up and film videos. That's my plan. Or maybe go to breakfast that morning if somebody wants to go with me. That would be real fun, but we'll see. So if I do that, if Alex goes with me, we'll probably maybe eat breakfast that morning on the way back or something. And then, yeah, but I'm really excited. And then that's Thanksgiving week, and then Saturday, Sunday, film videos. I think I'd like to try to do a live stream next week, too. I haven't done a live stream in a long time, and not a vlog live stream, but like on my Peter Monn YouTube channel. I haven't done one in forever. Part of the problem is I used to do the You Now ones back in the day, and I loved them because there just weren't tons and tons of people that came in there, and I could very much control it. But, the difficult thing with being on YouTube is that so many people, well, I would hope that so many people would come in there, but maybe not. At times, there's been a lot of people that have come in there, and so, it just, like, floods the comment sections, and it's hard to read. I do know something that I'm doing this week. Melissa pre-bought tickets to go see House of Gucci, so we're going to do that on Wednesday. I think is the night before. that's when she wanted to go see it. I don't know if that's when it, yeah. We're going to see the House of Gucci on Wednesday. So it's Alex and I, Jason and Melissa, and I think maybe Aaron and Eric. So I'm excited about that. Especially because I read the book, so. Melissa is obsessed with Lady Gaga. So maybe we'll do a review of that. I don't know. I really want to do a review of the pie cake-in at Caroline's house for Thanksgiving. But I don't really want to have to, like, film on Thanksgiving. Because the thing is, like, if I'm going to film, I have to be like, okay, everybody be quiet. You guys turn off the music. Okay, I'm going to film this. So I might just take some pictures of it and then, like, take a piece home and, like, do a review the next day. That might be what I do. Or take it into the other room and have Caroline, like, hold it and stuff. And because I really want to just, like, sit there and enjoy being with my family and stuff, too. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be like, okay, guys, camera's on, camera's on. Caroline's house is so fun for Christmas and Thanksgiving because it's so, I mean, her house is cozy. And it's, like, so cutely, like, decorated and fireplace is burning. And, you know, it'd be so much fun. I can't wait. I hope it's, like, dry and maybe they'll have the, because sometimes they'll put, like, a fire pit out in the driveway, because a lot of people in her neighborhood, I'm close to her neighborhood right now, actually. A lot of people in her neighborhood, like, on Thanksgiving, in our neighborhood, they do this, too. They'll walk as, like, families. Do you guys do that? Like, they'll wine and walk. They'll have, like, those glasses of those, like those swig cups, you know, with, like, wine in it, and then they'll drink wine and walk. Does people in your neighborhood do that? Anyway, so Mike will make a fire in that fire pit metal thing that's supposed to not put off any sparks. He'll put that in the driveway with chairs around it, and then put the bags out. Cornhole. They don't call it bags in Indiana. They call it cornhole. And the last couple times we've gone there, I've had so much fun playing cornhole, which is so corny, I know. Corny cornhole. But I've had so much fun that I think it would be really fun if they had that out and we played that. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess I could just ask her and they would put it out. But if it's cold or if it's snowing or something, nobody's going to want to stand outside. But the other thing is that we play that game, that computer game. I love it on the TV. Like, something Jack. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, I love that game so much. Where you, like, you write the answers on your phone, and then it, like, puts them up, and then people have to guess, like, whose answers are whose. You don't know Jack, I think is what it's called. Caroline's stepson, he's the one that, like, uploads that and brings it. Oh, I love that game. It's so much fun. He always wears a hat, too, that has a turkey on it. It's like this big, like, turkey hat. I do want to go to Trader Joe's this week, and I want to see if they have easy-to-make veggie stuffing. I wish there was some place that was like a deli that I could just buy it, because last year trying to make it, I popped the butter everywhere in the kitchen and like burnt the kitchen ceiling. And I would just like to have one that you can just like throw in an oven and bake or something, you know, that I could take over to Caroline's for Thanksgiving. I need to just go to Trader Joe's. I've been meaning to go there for a long time. Okay, I won't be going on a Saturday. So, no, not going to Trader Joe's on a Saturday. So maybe Monday I'll go. And I also want to get some of those pretzels with peanut butter inside of them. Oh my God, I love those so much. Where was I today? Oh, they had those today at that Market District. Market District. I don't know why those two words are hard for me to say next to each other. But I almost bought some, and I was like, no. There was like a tall container of those. When we were on lockdown, and I was buying stuff from like Amazon Fresh and whatever, I was going through one of those containers. It was like a big round container, not this big, but it was like big. It was like that big round container of those peanut butter pretzel things. I was going through a container of them, like, no wonder I put on like 35 pounds. I was eating a container of them like every 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I was having for lunch and dinner, do you guys remember? I mean, Lay's, this was the food. This was the bomb too. Ruffled chips with Lay's onion dip. Lay's chips with Lay's onion dip. And then I was having all different kinds of the soup that I was buying online. Tomato soup and all that kind of, oh my God, it was so good. And then I was making the cheese sandwiches with Havarti. Do you guys remember that? Oh my God, and you know those pretzel things? I obviously do not miss the condition of the world at that time. It's been such a sad time since all of that. But being at home with my husband for 3 months almost, and like I'm such a homebody anyway, and not leaving, and just having the food there and sitting in the driveway vlogging and listening to audiobooks and, you know, watching shows on my iPad, and I mean, spending so much time with Alex and the dogs. That was really, in retrospect, like a really special time. And like I said, I mean, I wouldn't go back to that because of all the sadness in the world that's occurred as a result of all that. I mean, it's just, even to me, it's like baffling when you think back on like before that. Like, isn't it weird to think like of a time in the world before that? You know? That if somebody had said to us, like, this is where you're going to be 3 years from now, we'd have been like, there's no way. It's just crazy, you know? But I did kind of like it back then. I mean, there was nowhere to go, and we would just cozy up in bed all day long. There was no time schedule, you know? I sometimes wish Alex worked from home every day, but if he did, he would he'd be so unlike me. Like, you know, I film a video and then like I clean the kitchen and light a candle and make a cup of coffee and talk on the phone for a second, you know, and then I go make another video while I'm uploading all of that kind of stuff. He would not be that. Like, he would need to have like an office space of total silence where he worked for like 8 hours straight and just on a computer, you know. That's who he would be working from home. That's not who I am working from home. I've been thinking about that, like, setting, like, I wouldn't even need, like, you know what I was talking about, like, if I had 6 hours, I just did, like, the video an hour, and then I said something like, oh, well, I'd only really need 5. I can sit down and get my stuff done pretty quickly. And those are the days that I have the most fun filming, is when I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start, and then I'm going to film. But some of the times the thing that happens, like this happened the other day, when I started filming videos and I didn't go get coffee. That was like the day, that was like the first, maybe that was Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Monday. I can't remember. One day I didn't film videos and the next day I did. But that was like the first day that I didn't get coffee, and then I just haven't since then, I think. So it was Monday or Tuesday, I don't know. But anyway, no, because I got a coffee at McDonald's the other day. When did I do that? That was when I was vlogging. That was when I got the coffee was at McDonald's. What was I gonna say? I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. You know, I sat there and I started filming videos, and before I knew it, like 3 hours had gone by, which is fine, you know, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of like to get out of the house a little bit. But then the other thing is, if I leave the house to go do a review, then I'm not back for like an hour and a half, because I run around and I do other stuff. I just need to have more of a schedule. I'm not going to worry about it this holiday season. That's going to be my goal going into 2021. I'm going to have more of a schedule. I have some new plans and new ideas for 2021. So it's just about implementing those plans. Not resolutions, but plans and goals. So, all right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now. I have about 20 minutes to home, and I'm going to listen to a little bit of my audiobook between now and then I'm going to go back to sleep for a little bit. And the sun is up. well, back there, it's very sunny. I don't know if you guys can see, but like, oh, see, it looks so bright. It's still super dark outside, you guys. It's so funny that it looks so bright, because it's like really super dark. Yeah, it looks like bright everywhere, but it's super dark. So anyway, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I love you. And I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Saturday. And thank you for hanging out with me this morning. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! Oh, and for those that need to hear it, and wait, those that want to hear it, those that need to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, put a holiday emoji in the comment section below to let me know that you made it this far. And let's see, or a book emoji or a holiday emoji, or both, and or blue hearts. And yeah, for all of you out there, those that want to hear it, those that need to hear it, and those that just stuck around, one more I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.